just take a month off. Because no. But at the same time, I needed it. I needed it so badly. Hi, I'm Kate, and welcome to Always Tuck and Roll. We discuss life, the universe, and everything through the lens of autism, because autistic. And hey, y'all, it's been a hot minute. Like 4 weeks of them specifically, because it's July, and July is really hot. And I say that from the privilege of the Northeast, and not like the Midwest or the desert or any place that's like seeing triple digits. But I personally believe that anything hotter than like 70 is too hot. So there's that. I mean, I sleep in an air-conditioned apartment with a fan on. That might be menopause, but also, I don't like being hot. It messes with my brain. It's very messes with my sensories. It makes me completely dysfunctional in so many ways. And yeah, I've spent the month of July with like my executives fully dysfunctioning. So, what exactly happened? Well, I'll be perfectly honest. The last time I truly knew like when it was in time, it was like the 4th of July. And I do know that it is the 6th now, which that's crazy. Don't know how that happened. Like seriously, it was literally July 4th like yesterday. Now it's the 6th. That's of August, and I'm not used to losing a whole month like that. It has been a month. Coherent thoughts, that's what we're doing. Right. So I sat down like a month ago and tried to, I'm not even sure what the topic was. I think maybe that was part of the problem. I couldn't come up with one. But I just kind of tied myself up in knots and then decided that content for content's sake is not something I want to do anymore. She says, making this video with no real plan. Oh well. So, and it wasn't even just that I couldn't come up with an idea. It was that I couldn't even string 2 words together to make them make sense. And if I could get multiple words out in a full sentence, they kind of came out together in like, I don't know, a spitball almost. Like it wasn't working. And I knew that I couldn't just force myself to do it. And here's a little fun thing about me. When I have a set plan or an idea of how something has to happen, I will run myself into the ground and keep going until the thing is done, whether or not I should. That has always been the way. And it's because if I break my routine or change my plans, I'm in very real danger of never coming back to the thing that I am breaking from. Not sure what that's about. It's very frustrating anytime like I take like a break from like doing yoga, then it takes me like a week to get back on the horse, and I overstretched yesterday, so that's a whole other thing that I'm dealing with at the moment. Anyway, so I decided to just not for a week and just regroup. And my therapist was glad, and Pete was glad, and I was still mad at myself, but accepting that like it was the right thing to do. And then the next week rolled around, and I tried to film again. And, I even talked with my therapist about it, how like the video should be about self-care. And because that was why I hadn't done it, was I took a week of just self-care. But filming that, I couldn't get a coherent sentence out still. I couldn't do the things. I just couldn't articulate. I can't articulate today very well, but this is honestly the most articulate I have felt in a month. which is a little bit terrifying, but I also remember feeling this feeling before coming out of burnout. So has July just been a regression of burnout or a depression pothole or something? Heck yes, probably all of the above. And I'm learning to be okay with that because I'm still really frustrated that it's been a month. Like, I haven't touched my blog, I haven't touched this, I haven't even really logged on to YouTube. I am behind in all the stuff I usually watch, and that's whatever. Okay, let's refocus our thoughts into what we're doing here. Right. Because, like, then the second 2 weeks, I didn't even bother trying because the idea of pulling out even just my tripod and pulling the pillows off of my couch just so that, like, I didn't have to figure out what's balanced on either side, that was a bridge too far. How can pulling the pillows off of your couch be a bridge too far? They just were. And I'm still frustrated with that, but I also seeing how I feel right now. It is so much more like myself than it has been in a whole month and probably a little bit longer than that. That's showing me that I made the right choice. Even though the last 2 weeks really felt like I was just, I don't know, screwing around. And maybe I was. But I've also been like living life. I mean, I'm maintaining a household and finding myself. But I guess I really haven't been doing that the last 2 weeks. I've been reading a lot. And that's really escapism, but like just not even anything specific, just reading fiction, nonfiction, just words. I should do that more because I think it actually really does help me reset, refocus, and regroup. And sometimes it just, you get so bogged down by everything else. But the interesting thing about this phase of my life right now is that, you know, I've got a milestone birthday coming up in, I don't know, like 48 days or something like that at this point in time. I have, for someone who doesn't actually care that much about their birthday and like the whole I'm turning 40 precipice thing, I know that like I bring it up a lot, but I also really like how dates work and how and countdowns. I'm just a fan of calendars. But brain went blank, sorry. What was I even talking about? Calendars. Don't really care about the 40s. Oh, but getting this far into life and you still feel like you're learning how to figure yourself out. I mean, I suspect that that's actually just how life works for most people on the planet because not everyone is given time or space to learn who they are as they grow up. It's very, you would think that that's what growing up is, but it turns out that I think most people just kind of subsist on autopilot and then they just kind of careen into the future. And I mean, I think your 30s are about figuring out who you are, and I'll find out what your 40s are about real soon, I guess. But I'm still learning myself in a very real way, in fundamental ways that I feel like I should already have known. Like, really truly processing my sensory issues has been eye-opening. It's one thing to always have known that certain things bother you, but to truly understand the level of bothering, and also like how much energy you have always been expelling just by trying to manage your uncomfortableness of that issue. Like, case in point, I am light sensitive. It is one of the reasons that the lighting in these videos is extremely varied and kind of bad. The third reason is that the lighting in this apartment sucks just in general. But also, I don't try as hard as I should because it hurts my eyes to have lots of light, and then I have to put sunglasses on, and then you'll just see the rings in the lens, and I don't like that either because then it'll just bother me while I'm editing, and that's a whole other problem. So, in general, that's why the light is bad. But just acknowledging how much light affects me, or even is that alone has been so weird. And I think I've talked about it before, but one thing I have started in the past month is anytime we go out, I put on a wide brimmed hat and sunglasses. I used to just always make sure I had sunglasses on night or day, but now if we're going out in the day, especially like to the grocery store, I put on a wide brimmed adventure hat, just like because there's too much light in the world, even at night, especially with the LED headlights. Like, I get that people want to see, but I also like to not die from too much light. That's a whole other problem. Other problems. The world is full of them. We can only handle so many, but we can only we can acknowledge so much and do so little, but so many. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. I think that there was an idea there, and we're just gonna move past it and continue talking about my awesome adventure hat and how it doesn't act like blinders, but what it does do is helps stop some of the overhead lighting from getting into my eyeballs after I take my sunglasses off inside. But also it does limit my range of view, but in a way that's more like it helps me to only focus on what I need to focus on and not like take in everything all at once, because I am always trying to like figure out where everything is and where people are and what they're about to do, because grocery stores are they're kind of an erratic place. We'll be perfectly honest. And I don't know, sometimes I think I want to talk just about grocery stores because I think I learned how to read people to a degree in grocery stores. I seem to only be able to predict human behavior in a grocery store. Like, no, we can't be behind this person. She's going to take a long time. I don't care that she only has Diet Coke in her basket. This is going to be a really long checkout. Ask me how I know. It's because I was a cashier when I was 13 through 17. Yes, I worked when I was 13. And I actually think it helped. I learned how to talk to adults that were not like my parents and their friends because I was a cashier for a small town grocery store. Fun times. Sort of. Church ladies are mean. That's was really one of the biggest takeaways from working when I was in high school, was that church ladies are very mean and unforgiving. I said it, and I mean it. Some of the least forgiving people I know or have met in the world have been church ladies. Some of the nicest people too, though. So like, it's not, nothing is as black and white as we like to think it is. Just putting that out there in the world before I dig myself a deeper hole that probably no one's going to see because I took a month off and didn't have a ton of viewership before. But I'm not going to stress out about that because it's not in my wheelhouse to care that much about that end of things. It just isn't. I'm still learning how to just function in the world and consistently do this with those sensory issues. And also just acknowledging my brain is not, it's still not functioning the way I want it to. Like, yeah, I feel more like myself than I have in a very long time. But I also feel like I'm not back. Not really. I'm not as there as I want to be. I feel like I should be doing better. And I think that that's a big part of the trap I fell into a month ago. Like, I'm getting my life back. I can start to move on. I'm feeling better. I've got these things that I can do and routines, and it literally short circuited my brain. And that's frustrating. I'm still frustrated, but last week I spent time actively working on letting go of the madness I was feeling about my perceived failure. And I'm not fully okay with like me being like, yeah, no, you can just take a month off. Because no. But at the same time, I needed it. I needed it so badly. And I think I probably still need it if the lack of cohesion in this is anything to do with anything. But I do know that I want to keep doing this. And maybe I need to really like buckle down and figure things out and sort things and schedule. And yeah, that's all stuff that people do, and I used to be really type A about stuff like that, but that's not my wheelhouse right now. This throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, that's still my speed. And I'm a little bit scared by that. That is for sure. But I'm so grateful to everyone in my life that has allowed me the space to do this and to figure it out. And I'm gonna get better. Just in general. I'm gonna get better. I'm going to get my head on straight at some point in time, I'm sure. Um, I once had a haircut so bad that I had a teacher think that my head was a little bit crooked anyway. Um, Seriously, my 8th grade photo is a little bit, very choppy bob with hair that curled under in a different direction, so like one eye was much that was, there were a lot of problems with that photo. I think that photographer was a bit of a perv too. That's neither here nor there. Um you know, let's end there. I don't know if I've said the things that I wanted to say, but I also don't know what I wanted to say in the first place, other than I'm still here. I'm still trying. I'm not giving up. I just needed to take a break because sometimes I need to take a break. I need to listen to the inside of me and acknowledge that it has needs, that even if I am annoyed by them, sometimes they need to be met. And when my entire internal brain is screaming, let's just take a break, let's take a knee, let's figure this out, but not in this way, I need to listen to it before I drive myself in the ground over something inconsequential like this. I still have so many things I want to do, and I'm still not entirely sure how to do them, but I think that I got so wrapped up in trying to keep the schedule that I forgot that I needed to do stuff still to figure out other things. So, like I said, I'm not going anywhere. And I'm going to try to maintain the schedule, but I'm also going to try, honestly, to try to do other things that I have started and set out to do and stopped doing them because I hit a minor roadblock or I just got too tired or distracted or something. I have a stack of projects all over this apartment that I really need to get done, or more research into things that I want to do. So yeah, I'm back from outer space and all of that other jazz. I love Gloria Gaynor. If you have never listened to the Cake I Will Survive, though, you need to listen to it. Also, I think Cake is extremely underrated. Child of the 90s, can you tell? I hope that any of this rambling was helpful or explanatory, or just, if you're hitting a wall, just take a knee, back off. Just don't drive yourself into the ground or into a wall or other hard surface of your choosing or situation if you can avoid it. Like, I get that right now I have a ton of privilege that I can just take a knee and regroup and sort myself out. And I am so, so grateful for that. But if you're struggling to even put two words together, take a nap. Just take a breath. Take a first step, because you can't keep going that hard if you can't put coherent thoughts together. You have to protect the melon. It's not just about wearing a helmet because, like, life's hard. You have to take care of it internally and externally too, you know? So, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope your July was less sticky. I hope August is, less hot. I doubt that that'll happen because August is August, but... And I plan on sticking around for August, I promise. Well, I'm gonna try. I'm not going to make promises because I don't want to let myself or anyone that's potentially watching down. But I'm back, y'all. I'm trying. We'll see what it means. We'll see what I do. And clearly, when all else fails, we're just gonna chuck and roll. I said it, and I mean it.